Welcome to the latest edition of Better Together Arizona. I am your host, Angela Hughey. Very happy to be with Tom Collins from Arizona Clean Elections. How are you today, Tom?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
I'm good. We've been having a good time talking about propositions.
Our vision for creating the Royale was to create a space for the LGBTQ plus community and allied community. It's important to vote so that everybody has a seat at the table. Visit yourvoteisyourvoice.com and make sure that you're registered to vote today.
Right now, we're going to talk about Proposition 135. This is all about declaring emergencies.
That's right.
Talk about how this proposes to change how we declare emergencies in the state of Arizona.
Sure. So you may remember a few years ago at the height of the COVID pandemic, the governor issued some emergency orders to deal with public health and to help to mitigate the spread of COVID and issues like that. At the time, there was a group of legislators in particular who felt like they should have had a bigger say in that because there isn't a fixed termination date for those emergency declarations, and they felt like there ought to be one. So this proposition essentially says that if the governor declares an emergency, after 30 days, they have to go to the legislature in order to get that affirmed. So
for like an extension, right?
That's exactly right.
So, but does it initially take the power away from the governor to declare a state of emergency?
No, the initial power still remains.
Okay.
It's just that it'll be for 30 days, and then you have to go to the legislature. And proponents of the measure say that this is important checks and balances issue, that the governor ought not be able to sort of dictate to folks
how long a state of emergency is in place,
and how they have to conduct themselves and those kinds of things without some kind of legislative oversight.
And there's some exceptions in this proposition, right? So the governor could have a state of emergency around something that's war related,
right,
as well as fire and flood emergencies.
Right.
And this proposition, that's an exemption, right? So that state of emergency, it's okay to last for longer than 30 days
right,
without getting a vote by the legislators.
Right. What they're trying to do there is show that, that perhaps a fire flood situation where it's something that needs an ongoing recovery, they're going to recognize that. Now, opponents of this measure say, wait a second, we think that, it's not just fire and flood, those kind of things where the emergency is ongoing.
We've got a state of emergency.
That's right.
What it is.
That's right. And so if there's a situation like COVID or what have you, they say, look, the governor ought to have that power. And they also say in their arguments that this is that in Arizona, the legislature did pass a 120-day review for public health emergencies as a statute. This is a constitutional measure, so this is saying that putting the legislative power and the governor's power related to this in the state constitution, so that but there is an existing state law that
which is at 120 days.
Yeah, opponents say for public health, 120 days that ought to be sufficient, and that's enough review. You don't need this additional layer.
So if this passes, does it supersede the 120-day review that legislators have passed?
Well, I think it would essentially
because
it would basically make it,
right?
Exactly.
It would make it mute because it's 30 days.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you believe in this, then a yes vote is you think that declarations beyond 30 days need to pass through the legislative process.
Yeah.
This is really interesting to me because I just think that we're not getting a lot done down at our state's capital. So I think I'm really curious in a time of a state of emergency.
Right.
What happens if you can't get legislators to agree? And we're in the midst of a state of emergency. So we already are at 120 days is what I'm understanding.
Yes.
A no vote means we stay at 120 days. A yes vote means that after 30 days, the governor has to go to legislators to get approval for a longer period of time for the state of emergency.
Yes.
Got it. Thank you, Tom Collins. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
We want to remind everybody that it's a really, really long ballot this year. We're asking you to start at the bottom and work your way up. To learn more about this ballot initiative and everything that's on the ballot, visit yourvoteisyourvoice.com. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Gabe Hagan. I am the co-founder of Brick Road Coffee here in Tempe. I believe it's important to vote because our rights are on the line. Visit yourvoteisyourvoice.com to register to vote and learn more about the upcoming election.